Welcome to another episode of Tweener Talk. Hey guys, so I'm assuming you all watched episode 10. And I can say this, things escalated pretty quickly. So that day, Dusty and I got up and, well, let's rewind a little bit further. The night before, we were heading back to camp in the dark, and we're driving on these mountain roads, and we come around a corner, and guess what? We saw this giant bull standing in the road, middle of the road. It's like he was caught with his pants down. He's just like, what do I do? Where do I go? And we drove right up on him. Got a really good look at him, and he was a giant. He was a true giant. Probably like a 340 class bull, which is a giant for this country. You know, we're not Arizona or Utah where we got 400-inch bulls running around. So North Idaho, that's a giant bull for up here. And so the next morning we're like, well, we know where we're gonna be. So next morning went back up there, and I'll be darned if right in the road where we saw that bull, we come around the corner from the other direction, and there was a cow there. There was a cow standing in the road. I'm like, man, this is a pretty good sign. That bull's got to be around here somewhere. Well, this country is just a reprod jungle. For those who don't know what reprod is, so at one point in time, there was a logging operation there, and they cut down all the trees, they clear cut it, they burn it, and then they replant it with seedlings. Okay, these seedlings get big. You know, these ones were probably 15, 20 feet tall in some of them places. And as they get big, they get thick too. They grow very tight, very close together. So it's a jungle. So no wonder there was a big old bull living there. It's just in an impenetrable fortress. But there was some older logging and some newer logging areas to where maybe we'd catch him out in some of the stuff that'd be a little bit easier to navigate and maybe call in. So we pulled up there. We got there really early in the dark still. We hiked over the hill, got to a good listening place, and like, okay, we're just gonna listen. We're not gonna call. We're gonna let's just see what happens here, because the wind was kind of blowing where I thought the bull might be, and I didn't want to foul it up by doing a bunch of calling right off the bat. So we sat there for quite a while, and then finally, as the sun began to rise, then we heard a bugle. And it was him. Well, I'm pretty sure it was him. Very, very growly, very guttural. Kind of sounded like a wood planer or something. He had a pretty mean sounding bugle. Way more mean than all the other bulls we'd heard this year. So I'm like, okay, that's probably him. So he was down below us quite a ways. The wind was blowing downhill, but he was a couple ridges over from where he wouldn't be in our scent line. So we just let the sun come up a little bit, and we're kind of listening, and so finally I'm like, okay, he's over there. So I make a few cow calls and rip a bugle, and lo and behold, I get an answer, not from the big boy, but by a whole bunch of cows go over close to me, and which is weird because I never hear cow elk talk, cow calf talk. I just never hear it, and most of the time because there's just not a lot of elk around, I think, and then I think they're just pretty tight-lipped because of the wolves. Anyway, these cows were just chirping and to beat the band. They were meow, 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 this going crazy over there. I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome. Why are there cows way over here and that big old bull is down there? That's kind of weird. So then we heard this really wimpy bugle. I'm like, okay, well, there's a bull with those cows. I don't know if it's a spike or a raghorn or maybe just a really big bull that sounds like a wimp. So I call one more time, and pretty soon the brush is popping, and something, I can hear it. Dusty and I can hear hoofbeats running. Well, pro tip number, I don't know, 50 maybe, 500? Make sure you take your bow with you when you're hunting. Anytime you leave the truck, even if it's dark, you know, and you think you're going to be there once the sun rises, take your bow with you. And for you camera guys, take your camera too. I left my bow in the truck. Dusty left the camera in the truck, and we had brush popping there was an elk beating feet right over to us. And I don't know if it was a calf. It didn't sound like a bull, because we heard the bull bugle again, and it wasn't the one that was running over to us. I think maybe it might have been a calf. You know how calves are pretty inquisitive and curious, and they'll kind of run in on you. They're like, "Are you my mother?" Calves and spikes. We all know Trent. He probably would have shot a spike. I probably would have shot a spike too that day. We're getting down to the wire with the weather report, like I kind of talked about. We had nothing but rain and snow coming in the forecast from that day forward through the rest of the season. So I was getting to where I was like, well, I probably better not be too picky at this point, because there's not much season left and a lot of inclement weather. So anyway, now we've got elk in between us and the truck. So we have to pull out, sneak over, back over around, get all the way over to the truck, grab our gear, and then kind of make kind of a big arc. Oh, sorry, I don't have my shoulder strap on. That kind of hurts to do that. Anyway, kind of make a big arc over towards where the elk were at and try not to scare them away. Well, we get over there and they'd kind of lost interest. And I don't know if they'd heard us or smelled something or what, but they'd kind of lost interest and moved off. So then we took in after them, and that's kind of where the camera work started coming in. You guys kind of seen all that. And that bull that I shot, he came in on fire on a string. He wasn't bugling really loud, but he bugled from the first time we heard him bugle till the shot was 5 minutes or less. It was the craziest hunt. I would have never thought it. He actually, we were kind of walking down the ridge thinking, well, he's going to want to come down to the end of the ridge here, maybe cut up in front of us and try to fight. And he came back up behind us, and that sucker bugled real quiet. I'm like, oh, he's right there. I turned around. As you saw, I knocked an arrow quick as I could, ripped my bow back with my teeth, and let him have it. Oh man, I wish you could have seen it on the camera when I first seen his face pop in that little opening on the brush on the right hand side. He had fire in his eyes. They were bulging out, and he was all bristled up, and he had his rack down. He was ready for war, and it was probably one of the coolest moments I've ever had with an elk coming in. He was so mad and worked up. But as he came out into the opening, he kind of changed his disposition. It's like he looked around and it's like, I don't see a bull standing here. And then it was too late. Ka-chow, I got him. And then he ran over there, kind of paused, and stupid me, I shouldn't have bugled maybe at that point, because that kind of gave away our location, and he seen us and ran away then. Had I been smarter, I would have probably just stayed quiet and motionless. And who knows, that bull might have died right there, because I don't think he lived very much longer after that. I think he had that one last big run and toppled over the side of the ridge there. So it wasn't a really long blood trail. It's a little bit weird because, as you see, the brush is pretty red there, and it's hard to track blood on red brush. And then it had rained a bit, so the blood had dripped on the raindrops on the brush that had raindrops on them, and then just kind of followed the rain right off the brush. So it was a pretty tough blood trail. I think there was a lot of blood because it's a good shot, but you just couldn't really see it with the conditions. So that's something to think about when you guys are trailing your blood. And usually I like to wait 30-40 minutes, but with the rain coming in and they're right behind us, I'm like, we got to take in this trail real slow, real quietly, methodically, and hopefully we can get far enough on it before maybe the rain washes it out. We didn't know if it was going to come just like start pouring or what. So, which eventually it did. You saw, you know, the final half of the film with all the really cool shots that Dusty got. It was pouring down rain, you know, and you know, bless his heart, he was out there with his camera getting it and just getting soaked, and the lens would fog up, and okay, hold on, we got to wipe off the lens, and we got to cover up the camera, and then we'd go again, and then finally it got to the point, it's like, okay, just go ahead and just put it away, Dusty, you know, we don't want to ruin your camera. So, but all in all, I thought he got some great shots. And again, I thanked him before, and I want to thank him again, because all of this, that that wouldn't have been possible if he wouldn't have been on his top of his game and got the cool shots and got the shot of the bull coming in, and that just happened so fast. But he was on it, so I couldn't have been happier with Dusty's performance and all the clips we got. So thank you, Dusty. I know you're probably gonna watch this, so thank you. All right, guys. So that was Mouth Tab Madness. And setting out on this journey, I didn't really know, you know, how it was all going to pan out. I had confidence that I would call some bulls in, or a bull maybe, but you never know. Sometimes the elk woods can be fickle. You know, we've had presence of wolves in the area where the bulls would kind of get tight-lipped and you couldn't buy a bugle, and I just hoped that maybe we could get away from those places and maybe find some elk that would play, and we were lucky. Very fortunate to find some that would. The mouth tab, you know, I took about 5 days practicing. I practiced a lot and messed with it off and on all day for 5 days, just trying to get that muscle memory built up. And once you kind of get your brain wrapped around that your string or your mouth tab's not going to rip your face off or your teeth out, then it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. So that was good. So I just had to practice and practice, and then as I started making my shots more accurately, I started building a lot more confidence. It's like, okay, I can do this, you know. And I appreciate everyone's kind words, you know, about being, you know, I was an inspiration or you know, whatever. But honestly, you know, I appreciate those a lot. But I just had a bum shoulder, and there's a lot of folks out there who inspire me. You know, they may be amputees, they may have other major disabilities, you know, maybe they can't even walk, maybe they're in a wheelchair, but they get out there, you know, however it is, you know, whether it's, you know, very limited, or maybe they have a friend that helps them out there. Those are the ones that really inspire me, you know, because, you know, I can walk, I can pull my bow with my teeth, but you know, those guys have some real troubles. So I just kind of want to give a shout out to all of those of you guys that have some severe disabilities and still make it out in the elk woods every year, because it's not easy. It's not easy when you have all your arms and legs and everything functioning. So my hat's off to you guys. All right, guys. So I'm going to talk about the giveaway. I'm not going to draw tonight. So we have one more episode left in the cooker. That's not a tweener talk, that is. It's called Inside the Mind of a Madman, or Inside the, I don't know, Inside the Mind of a Bad Man, I think it's what it's called. You'll have to watch. And basically, Dusty kind of sat down with me, and he'd thought up a bunch of questions he'd asked, and he's like, all right, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. And there's a lot of stuff that, you know, him and I had discussed, because him and I didn't really know each other at all. So we spent a lot of time together talking in the truck. He's like, hey, could you tell some of those little stories and some of those things about yourself that I didn't know before? And, you know, I bet the viewers would like to see that. So we sat down, we videoed an interview with me, and I talked about a lot of different things, you know, how I got started elk hunting and a little bit of my family's backstory and whatnot. So I won't give too much away. But anyway, tune in. I think you'll probably like it if you want to know anything about me. If not, that's okay. I'm not really that interesting of a person. I'm not the world's most interesting man, by no means. But the tweener talk after that episode, we're going to give away all the cool stuff. So tomorrow's video is the last day you can sign up to win. And if you didn't know, even though I've been beating a dead horse with this, I'm giving away my mouth tab bow. It's a PSE EVOKE 35. And if you'd like, whoever the lucky winner is, we're going to make an adjustment, all the adjustments, and get your specs for draw length and such. Try to get that set before we send it out. My good buddies down at Diamondback Shooting Range, Dan and Justin. Hey guys, hope you're watching. Those guys have offered to make those adjustments for the lucky winner. That way we can send it out, and it'll be really close to what you need for shooting. So anyway, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna give away a Cordova cooler. It's pretty awesome. Made in the USA. It's an Idaho-based company. That's why I love them so much. They were gracious enough to get me a cooler to give away, and a couple of tumblers and a couple of hats. So I've got some cool swag there for you guys. Also, Crawford Stevens Print. He donated that really cool watercolor print. I hope I win it. I said that in one of the Tweener talks earlier, and he said, "You can't win. That's not the way it works." So, dang it. One of you guys are gonna win, but maybe I'll just have to buy one from him. There's a cool print. I seen some really cool stuff on his Instagram the other day. He's doing a kind of a giveaway thing right now, and if you have a picture of your elk or whatever, he did a really cool one of this guy's bull elk. The guy sent him a picture of the rack, and then so he did this watercolor painting of that guy's bull in the woods. It was pretty awesome. So if you guys are on Instagram, check out Crawford Stevens Art and sign up for his giveaway, because it's really neat. Also, we've got the Mountain Ambush ultralight tarp, probably the best quality tarp, ultralight tarp you can buy for under $100. It's a crazy cool tarp, and really great guys, Matt Locke and Mark. You guys, they're good guys. I used to work with Mark in my previous life when I worked at Night Force, so super awesome guy. And then, of course, Phelps Game Calls. And like I said before, if it wasn't have been for Phelps Game Calls, this production probably wouldn't have been able to happen. You know, the cost of a cameraman and other costs, I mean, and the time away from work. I mean, Jason, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So we're going to give away some cool Phelps swag and some calls. And then last but not least, I'm going to give away some cool bugler swag and some calls and stuff. And, oh, I almost forgot. So there's one more thing. So well, this is the last but not least. So if you guys noticed earlier on, I kind of mentioned something about giving away a bugler blades knife. The ultimate elk hunting knife. When we do the giveaway, I'll show you what they're going to look like. I don't have the very final revision. We've done a couple revisions on this knife. I've got a couple of examples, the ones I used this fall. Super badass knife, made from SV90 steel, heat treated, cryo treated. One of them is going to be powder coated and one of them is not. So the lucky winner will be able to choose which one they want. If they want the one that's a blackout version, or they want the one that is just blasted, the Ranger green handle. So you're not going to want to miss the giveaway. You're not going to want to miss out on being signed up for the giveaway. So check out in the description below. There's a link there to sign up for the giveaway. And you got tonight, and then you got tomorrow night, and then after that, sign-ups are over, baby. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.